It's been one of the craziest and most rumor-filled weekends leading into a Xbox event that we have ever seen, and it's definitely been one of the most bizarre and unique weekends filled with leaks, rumors, and speculation as to whether or not Halo Infinite would randomly be releasing early. Seriously, it was a wild ride, and sure enough, surprisingly enough, Halo Infinite went with a shadow drop approach where the multiplayer beta was officially released earlier today on Xbox and Halo's 20th anniversary. Now, we use the word bizarre here because this is unlike anything we ever really see out of the gaming industry when it comes to AAA titles. And in one way, it's kind of low-key brilliant. You see, Halo Infinite already had a pretty long history when it came to its game and leaks. There's been so many leaks that have been fake and disproven, but still spread online like wildfire, to leaks that actually had some major plot details that were unintentionally released after the earlier flights of the game. It kind of got to the point over the weekend where if they didn't actually put anything out today, like if all of the buzz and rumors and leaks, or so-called leaks, and just the flames of people speculating all turned out to be nothing, it would have been an absolute chaotic mess if you think about it, because 343 was staying completely silent the entire weekend while all these rumors and leaks were going on. So it was almost feeling like the fact that they weren't denying the rumors and leaks that were so widespread at that point, it was kind of passively being like, yeah, it's happening. But this time around, I actually have this inkling, or this crazy feeling, that maybe all of these random leaks that just came out around the same time during the weekend, things like Microsoft's store code apparently revealing a change in a release date, to other things like a Pringles countdown timer also pointing to November 15th, may have been intentional plans by Microsoft and the marketing team with 343 to purposely get more and more buzz around the potential of Halo Infinite actually dropping. Of course, it didn't take long for the entire internet to catch on fire, especially on Twitter. And it is funny, whenever there's a rumor that is maybe plausible in one way or another, it always seems like another rumor or another leak comes out that just, rips the band-aid off and tries to one-up the first one, even if it's not even true. So at the end of the weekend, while it started off with simple suspicion that maybe the multiplayer would be dropping in some capacity, there were rumors ranging from the entire game launching early with the campaign all intact, all perfectly, and maybe even a DLC or something also included some way. The rumors were completely going wild, but the main ones, of course, were the multiplayer rumors, and then there was also another camp that was very suspicious that there'd be a campaign demo coming out instead, and it was interesting to see the speculation, the rumors, the memes. It was all pretty good. All this essentially building up this snowball-like effect leading into the Xbox event, where all of a sudden more people were interested in this Xbox celebration because of the possibility of Halo Infinite having some sort of limited release, which is where this strategy really is genius, as far out and different as it is from the stereotypical video game type release. But of course, at the Xbox event, they officially announced that Halo Infinite would be releasing early today in a multiplayer beta, kicking off the start of the game's first season, and the game would still see its official launch later on in December as expected, which honestly is a little bit of a relief because Luke and I still have to get every single MCC achievement before Infinite fully launches, so we gotta get on that. And now we have the added burden of having Halo Infinite as a distraction to pull us away from our lasso runs that we need to still complete. But nonetheless, the idea of releasing the game in this type of early beta to kick off the game before its release, something that a lot of fans had actually rallied for, the multiplayer side of things being released early if the campaign wasn't ready yet. It seems like this is kind of a hybrid version of releasing the game separately as the multiplayer and the campaign on different different dates, while also not releasing the game separately as a multiplayer and campaign on separate dates. You kind of get a little bit of wiggle room with this beta, and we can expect probably some more content or some event within the multiplayer side of things to coincide with the game leaving its beta probably around the time that the campaign actually launches. So of course, for me to just roll out of bed and see all the Halo Infinite stuff, it is pretty exciting. I jumped on to Halo Infinite pretty much immediately. Of course, had to download the update, but got that working without any problem on the Xbox Series X. And before even jumping into multiplayer to, just be the competitive god that I truly am in Halo, first thing was more important that I jumped on and took a look around some of the new multiplayer maps finally available during the flights. That was the main thing that I liked to do, was just look around at the little intricate details in multiplayer, and it was cool to get to just jump around and get a general overview and feel of some of the new maps that are included in the beta. Right now, the Halo Infinite beta launches with 10 total maps, 5 of which we saw during the flighting period of the game, and 5 maps we haven't actually gotten to get a hands-on look at just yet. So I jumped into a custom game, threw my settings up so I could fly around, and just tried to get a general vibe or feel of each map. Aquarius is a small close quarters map that has this space botany vibe to it. It actually reminds me a lot of the teaser trailer we got for the new Perfect Dark game, another franchise that I am equally excited about, and you should be too, but just the plant life kind of acting in the background when you're fighting it out could be kind of cool. Deadlock was this really cool nighttime map that honestly kind of gets me really excited about the campaign overall, because just walking around and feeling the atmosphere of this level was something really unique, especially since it's at night. Launch Site was actually a little bit of an interesting map for me to jump in and look at, because I was expecting a map more like Halo Reach's Countdown, and while of course there is still the centerpiece of this launch site, it does also kind of play into Zeta Halo and that nighttime vibe, which isn't actually a bad thing. It looks pretty cool here. High Power looks like another big team battle map, this time it taking place in a large open setting, and while I was looking around this map already, I managed to glitch out of bounds on the cliffs, so that, just classic Rocket Sloth stuff, but I was having fun with that already, and I want to maybe play around with that some more and see what the game in general lets us actually do and how far out of bounds or what little nooks and crannies we're allowed to actually get onto in the multiplayer side of things later on in the next couple of days. And then obviously Streets is going to be a fan favorite, especially for someone like me who just loves that neon aesthetic. We get the city night vibe in New Mombasa, and while this side of town doesn't necessarily feel exactly like ODST per se, it still has this warm, ethereal feeling to it that I really like. After that, I jumped on and began customizing my Spartan, trying to put things together, the prosthetic arm for my traffic safety officer Spartan. I was a little disappointed to see that in the season pass there is no security helmet, which is my go-to, so I'm not really sure what helmet I should be wearing right now, and I do hope the security helmet does eventually make its way into Halo Infinite, especially since it was in Halo 3, Reach, and 5. But I guess for now I'll just be trying out different helmets, and then I also did pick out the nameplate that I would be wearing for at least the foreseeable future, because it is an I Love Bees reference, which obviously, just makes me happy as a huge I Love Bees fan. There's also a backdrop called Margaret's Honey, which is another reference to I Love Bees, so I'm just vibing with this one a lot right now. And overall, that was probably my first 2 hours or so with Halo Infinite. No multiplayer games played just yet. I guess that's something that I'll have to go into, and obviously when I'm done with this recording, probably the main thing I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night, just trying it out. It's kind of funny right now, Luke is away on vacation visiting family. He picked this time to go on his trip so he could be back in time for Halo Infinite's launch. Joke's on him. He does have access to an Xbox at some of the time, but there are still a few concerns I actually have about Halo Infinite moving forward after this move. I don't think launching the game today was a bad move. I think it actually was brilliant in its own right, as crazy and odd as it seems, and the strategy behind it being really weird. It's one of those so crazy it works type things, but my big concern is actually an announcement that was made passively on Twitter that nobody is really talking about right now, which is of course the fact that Halo announced that this first season, which is launching today, will last all the way until May 2022, which is an incredibly long time. Most other games that do the season type thing typically lean on a 3-month type interval, and while I wouldn't be opposed to this strategy if it meant that each seasonal update will give us big, meaningful types of content, it definitely is just kind of a stick in a wound when we know that co-op mode and Forge mode are reliant on when Season 2 and Season 3 end up releasing respectively. And it was crushing news for Luke and I when we found out that Halo Infinite's co-op would be delayed until Season 2. And everyone was talking about how that would likely be in March with the 3-month type season thing. But with this season now being closer to 6 months in length instead of 3 months, it means that co-op mode more than likely will not be out until May. And then if Forge isn't expected to come out until Season 3, would we be looking at an October release date, or could things get moved around a bit? It is definitely really concerning. I'm not a fan of thinking that we're going to have to wait this long for core features. I'm definitely not looking forward to the wait, but the tweet also did say that there will be other little events and things throughout the season. So hopefully it's not just one content drop and then this long, forever waiting period, especially when other games like Call of Duty, Fortnite, I think even Sea of Thieves have shorter seasonal cycles. Surely I can't be the only person who's like literally heartbroken over co-op not going to be there day one on campaign's launch. It's such an important deal to me, and I know a lot of people have already kind of just brushed it aside and they're fine moving on and they're going to play the campaign solo and co-op later, but it's still just it hits hard. But nonetheless, we are incredibly excited to jump into the multiplayer side of things and get to at least play that and have some fun there. But we would love to know what you guys are thinking about Halo Infinite, what your experiences are so far. So go ahead and leave a comment down below and let us know what you've experienced from this game so far. Obviously, this video is a little different than our standard type of content, but I mean, Halo Infinite multiplayer beta just dropped. It's kind of a big deal. Anyways, that's it for today. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.